On today's show, we look at the damage caused by ineffective fathers. Childhood screws up your energy, knocks it out of balance. And one thing I consistently see is that people who are attempting to heal get confused about which energy they're working on. And this doesn't help. So I'm going to attack that head on with two very powerful dreams from two different dreamers that would make you want to punch their father in the face if you ever met them in reality. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. It is going to be a fun show today. A lot to learn.
Did you hear the topic?
Yes, it's a lot to learn.
So if you want to get your dream analyzed on our show, just email radioshow@dream-analysis.com. We're hoping by the time you hear this show too that our app is available in the App Store and in Google Play. Fingers crossed, they're submitted. What do we do in this show? We interpret your dreams and we tell you what the spirit world is trying to tell you from your dreams. So, Sandy, will we just dive into it?
Sounds fabulous. All righty. The name of this dream is Kidnapped and it's from Tracy. So here we go. My daughter and two granddaughters were kidnapped into sex slavery. I tried to rescue them, but was kidnapped and taken into sex slavery myself. I tried to get away. I called 911, but no one believed or helped me. The kidnappers then took me to Hawaii. I was in a very sophisticated sex slavery in Hawaii. I put this special nail polish that recorded all the happenings, and I was able to call 911 with the nail polish and bring down the entire organization. I facilitated the rescue of myself, my daughter, and two granddaughters. All right, Michael, let's see what you get out of this dream. I'm very interested since it is a very short dream.
It's very short, but what we're going to do is repeat the dream, even though it's so short, and we're going to discuss each line of it. The dreamer gave me her comments, and I'm going to include some of them because I think it will allow me to address how most people feel. And is why we're theming the show the way we're theming it. So, Sandy.
All righty. My daughter and two granddaughters were kidnapped into sex slavery.
All right. So for this dreamer, this is not a good story. Abuse started for her as an infant and continued throughout childhood. The two granddaughters, I can't remember the age of the first one, but I think it's 11. The second one is 13. And so what happens is we either dream about the age an event happened or the age in our life when the disaster of it becomes apparent. So the trauma is really hitting home. Like I become aware, oh dear, I have a problem here and I know it's connected to that other thing. And the dreamer's comment, so hopefully this works. She says, because my daughter and granddaughters are involved, spiritually, it can reflect the collective feminine wound where divine feminine energy, innocence, creativity, love, sensuality, that's what she describes it as in brackets, has been exploited or silenced. So, a lot of people get confused about masculine and feminine energy, but it is right to try look at things that way. But when you do not confuse energy with gender. Inner list of feminine energy is creativity. That is not part of feminine energy. But I'm very aware that me saying that is seriously upsetting some women listening because they feel creativity is part of being a woman because women bring children into the world. And yes, they do, but don't conflate things. All of us have both energies. The energies are gender neutral. They have nothing to do with gender. No gender gets to lay claim to either energy at all. If you want an extreme example, God, the creator of all that is always depicted as male. She also has innocence on the list. I'd switch that to vulnerability. Feminine energy is all about your inner world, perception, philosophy of life, acceptance of yourself as you are and others as they are, love for yourself and others, compassion. Feminine energy does not seek to change, but rather to embrace yourself as you are and to embrace others as they are. A person, let's say Alex, with balanced feminine energy, who embraces themselves with love, who does not change to suit others, can still use masculine energy to resist those who want to change them. Note that in my example, Alex can be a woman or a man. The person wanting to change them can be a woman or a man. The gender does not matter. The energy does. Feminine energy determines your comfort level with being yourself. Masculine energy lets you fight to protect your choice to be yourself. Sandy, did I explain it?
I think you did really, really well. And I'm assuming you're going to explain a little bit more about this divine feminine energy.
Well, she uses the term the collective feminine energy wound. So I looked it up, and here's what it says. The collective feminine wound is a concept referring to the accumulated historical and intergenerational trauma experienced by women due to patriarchal societies, manifesting as a deep-seated fear of feminine power, a tendency to distrust other women, and a distorted sense of self-worth. Now, it went on. Most of that is absolute garbage. You don't want to buy into that. It is deliberately disempowering. If you label your wound as outside of you, something you are powerless to do anything about, then you've already lost. You will end up agreeing with the statement that others have to change for you to heal. And no, they don't. You change. That's it. You change, you heal. You do not need to change anyone else on the planet. If you think you do, it just points out your wound. Wanting to change everyone else is typical of a deep masculine energy wound. Like dad just didn't show up, never supported, never made the world safe. Or worse, he was the danger or abuser in your world, your personal world. All trauma is personal to the victim, but masculine energy wounds make you feel powerless. That you are on your own, that nobody is there for you. If you fell into a hole, nobody would show up to get you out of it. Everyone would just pass on by. People with this wound feel they would be safe if they can control everything in their life, right down to where the coasters go on the table. But it doesn't work. They fight with those close to them for not putting the coaster or whatever it is in the right place. Why would you not just do this little thing to support me? Why don't you give me just a little help? That's the wound. Nobody wants to help me. That's what they already believe. Nobody will support me. The world is not safe. This dreamer suffers from a very personal masculine energy wound, not a stupid collective feminine wound. And yeah, I said stupid because people who should know better are misleading the very people they say they want to help. You should know which energy you're talking about. And if you don't, find a different profession because you're not helping. I don't put this on the dreamer. It is hard for anyone to see past their own trauma. That's always the case. So it is super common for victims to be confused until they get the right help. But reading garbage about collective feminine wounds does not help you understand the trauma you experienced in your own personal world. I could say tons more about why it's garbage, but Sandy, I've already annoyed everyone listening. In fact, if you check the counter, if there's no one else listening, we can go to the pub.
I like the way you think. That's funny. No, I thought this was really a good discussion because I know a lot of people could easily get masculine energy confused and feminine. And I like the way that you separate it as the feminine is the inside, working inside, and the masculine is your outer world. And so that makes a lot of sense. But we need to continue on. And so I will read the next line of this dream. I tried to rescue them, but was kidnapped and taken into slavery myself. All right, Michael, your turn.
So it's not just the past. Even today, the adult you is still living the trauma. And that's why she ends up getting kidnapped. We make that mistake thinking we survived, but not all of us does. There is a damaged part of us needing to be integrated. And in fact, with my conversation with this particular dreamer, she was talking about that a lot, that there was lots of parts that she needed to integrate. And when she does work on herself, they show up and she integrates them and all that sort of stuff. But this part just shows it's still affecting you today. It's not just something you survived.
Wow. I tried to get away. I called 911, but no one believed or helped me. Now that is a scary line.
It is, but it ties into what I said before. It's a masculine energy issue, which is exemplified by the fact that nobody will help me in the world. And here it is in the dream, but it's also what she believes. But basically, when the abuse happened, nobody believed Tracy. So the abuser kept abusing her for years more. And that's a horrible story that she can tell you. Her words here highlight what I said her wound is. There is nobody there for me. Nobody cares about me. I'm on my own. If I get into trouble, nobody, not even the police, will show up to help me. That's a masculine energy wound. The dreamer's comment, is that calling 911 but receiving no help mirrors past experience of reaching for help and feeling abandoned or unheard. It may recall real times in my life where authorities, family, or systems did not protect me when I needed it most. Now, that's absolutely shocking. The reality is precisely because Dad had already proven to her that the world is unsafe by not being her protector.
Wow. That's intense. So we're going to continue on to see where else this goes. We're going to Hawaii. The kidnapper then took me to Hawaii. I was in a very sophisticated sex slavery in Hawaii.
All right. So her comment, Hawaii in my dream world often represents healing, paradise, divine feminine restoration, and spiritual renewal. It's my sacred place of ceremony and balance. So we need to know that because that's what Hawaii is going to mean to her. She says, being shipped to Hawaii in sex slavery symbolizes a deep paradox. My healing place has been invaded by trauma energy. This shows that my subconscious is attempting to heal the very places within and without where my freedom has felt violated, even in sacred spaces. It's a message that no dark force can desecrate what is truly holy in me, even when darkness tries to reach me in my place of peace. The same sacred ground becomes the site of my liberation. Okay, well, that's a long comment. Essentially, she viewed it as her healing work, which she did in Hawaii, now coming in to heal her trauma. I spoke to her and that was her take. And that's what she'd love it to be. She'd also love her subconscious to be healing her, but that's not what the subconscious does. It doesn't heal, it protects. But its protection can actually be damaging. It can be very damaging. She gets it correct right at the start when she says, my healing place has been invaded by trauma energy. And the dream shows that even when going through sacred ceremonies in Hawaii, she was carrying the trauma. That's why it's showing up in the dream. So she views Hawaii as this beautiful place. She does all these wonderful things and that's great. Always brings her into a nice, good place. But she carried that trauma into that place when she was there doing those healing ceremonies. It was still part of who she was. And that's true for all of us. It's just impossible for us not to do that.
Right. And it does it not show that even though she did healing work in Hawaii and it made her feel really good, she still hasn't healed that trauma, or else it wouldn't show up in the dream, right?
Precisely. The fact that she's dreaming about it shows that there's an issue. It doesn't mean she hasn't healed something, but it's not gone. It's not healed enough to the point where it's still not the priority in her dreams. So it still has to be dealt with.
All righty. We're going to continue on. I put on the special nail polish that recorded all the happenings, and I was able to call 911 with the nail polish and bring down the entire organization. Woohoo! Yay! All right. There you go.
All right. Well, that is excellent. Nails are like teeth in dreams and have to do with raising and protecting children. Animals defend their young with tooth and claw. If you don't believe me, go into the woods and try to take a cub from any animal. I'll wait. It doesn't matter what size the animal either. In her case, the special nail polish allows her to heal the time in her life when she was not protected as a child. It's a great symbol. Animals protect with masculine energy. So do we. This is a healing symbol to restore her own masculine energy. The dreamer's comment here was, this is the triumphant moment. It signifies the end of energetic bondage, trauma loops, or generational captivity. All bad guys being taken down shows my inner system reclaiming sovereignty. The perpetrators, programs, or beliefs that once enslaved me are now dismantled. See that generational garbage in there again? I don't want to, but I'll ignore that. Yes, abused people abuse, but does that discussion help the victim at all? No, it's a diversion. See, I told you I'd ignore it. That's me ignoring it, Sandy. She says,
you got to do better, Michael.
She says, all bad guys being taken down show my inner system reclaiming sovereignty. Sovereignty is protected with masculine energy. Boundaries are created with masculine energy. People with masculine energy trauma have difficulty setting boundaries. But here, she knows it's working because of the special masculine energy nails that allow her to take down the perpetrators and restore her sovereignty.
Wow, that's very interesting how you got all of that. Do you think it was a triumphant? The fact that she did call 911 and they did come, I guess that's all super, super good.
Absolutely. Absolutely fantastic that she did that. And that most people don't manage to do that in their dreams. So this is very indicative of somebody who's working on themselves and it's going well, at least for this dream.
Excellent. But they're still showing that there's some inner healing that needs to be done with the masculine energy, right?
It's all masculine. It's masculine out of balance versus imbalance. And we know work is being effective when we see the masculine energy restored. So we see her able to set boundaries, able to take the people down, and so on. Able to get help. People who really feel there's nobody there for them, they will never ask for help. They will move home and they move all the boxes and everything on their own. They won't tell their friends. And part of it is because they feel so much that there's nobody there for them that they don't even ask. I mean, that's how bad it is. They don't even ask.
Yep, I understand that completely. Okay, we're going to finish. I facilitated the rescue of myself, my daughter, and 2 granddaughters. Woo, yay!
All right. Well, wonderful. You did it. Everyone in the dream is you. You healed yourself at all these age points in your life. Look, this is a tiny dream, but it shows so much pain. But know this, for every trauma you can experience in the world, there is a healer who can help you. The world is both unfair and fair, both unbalanced and balanced. The world you experience, whether it is safe or unsafe, is fully determined by your subconscious beliefs. Heal yourself, and the world does not change. It doesn't need to. But because you change, the world you experience changes. With limiting beliefs gone, you see differently within the same world. You choose differently within the same world. You attract differently within the same world. Your outer world rises to match your inner world beliefs.
That was beautiful, Michael. Well, we got to move on to the next stream. So I'm excited about this one. It's titled 7 Babies, and it's from Sophie. I'm in a place that has a lot of greenery and lush. It's like in the countryside in my father's family where he comes from. All right, Michael, let's start.
All right, so I'm breaking this one up and we're going to do it piece by piece here. But the reason I can do it is because it's very like the other dream. It fits in the same mold. So I asked where it was dad from, because the father's side is immediately mentioned in the dream. And she said, oh yeah, he lived on a farm, grew up on a farm. So it's about dad. So the core issue is the father wound again. Sophie commented that dad was not really available. And this sets a low ceiling of expectation for men in her life until healed. She'll perceive or attract men who match the imprint that she received from dad at birth and in early childhood. Healing is needed so she, not the imprint that she's got from dad, so that she can choose her life partner. And that's a big thing for her. She wants to have children, is what she said, but I don't want to have them until I find somebody that I know would be there to support me and be there for me, because dad never was.
Yeah, so we'll continue on. And I go there to visit for the summer. I gave birth to 7 children, and they were all coming from a labor room. I'm not inside of the room. I'm outside. And they're bringing each child to me to the outside. And each child, in an interesting way, is placed in a basket. And their body is a little bit older. It's kind of like a tiny body, but the skin looks like that of an older person, and all kinds of kids keep coming. Some of them are peaceful. Some of them are not. But I know I will be able to manage and soothe them later. All right, Michael.
All right. Well, my hat is off to her with that attitude. I just had 7 kids and no problem, I can do it. I don't think that's ever happened. But this is actually a setup for what's coming later. So there's no point in us commenting on it until we see the next pieces further down the chain. And then you'll be like, oh, now I know why that was there.
Okay. And then the only thing I'm worried is that all my teeth are very broken and they're very fragile. They're sliced in pieces like vertical that are easily to fall apart. Oh, the first sign, Michael. Here we go.
All right. So we know this one. It's like the nails in the last dream. But this isn't what the setup was for. But note the similarity between both dreams. Father wound and then nails in one, teeth in another. And of course, just to remind you, animals defend their young with tooth and claw. Nails and teeth both represent an issue with raising kids.
Okay. An issue that they are concerned about, and that's why they're dreaming about it?
Well, in her case, yeah. Raising kids is on her mind, and she's just not going to do it unless she finds Mr. Perfect.
Okay. And then everything is in a big barn. There are rooms. Some of them look like hospital rooms, and some of them look like normal rooms. And there's my aunt there who says that a dentist arrived, and he's a nice looking blonde guy, and he comes in late and he says, well, it's midnight, but don't worry, I'm going to fix your teeth. You do what you need to do, and I'll wait for you.
All right, so the dentist fills the role of the super nail polish in the last dream. Instead of super nails, she will have super teeth. And so the blonde dentist is great. He's positive, masculine archetype, patient, supportive, willing to help, repairing her view of men and repairing her teeth, repairs her ability to have a child with a supportive man. He says, do what you need to do and I will wait. That means that obviously dad never would have said that in his life because he wouldn't even be there to support her in the first place. So he's certainly not going to hang around while she does something and then supports her. It being nighttime, though, is a negative because it means that she doesn't really see how this can be solved. So what I told her to do was re-enter the dream. In fact, Sandy witnessed this analysis. I told her to re-enter the dream and let him fix her teeth and imagine even a fairy tale positive outcome to reset the template that's already in her subconscious.
Yeah, very good. Alrighty, we're going to continue on. And then I go to see the guy that I could see the kids with. He's a young guy and he's sitting in the barn up, kind of like on a hanging shelf. And he's having a feast and eating lots of colorful food. And I climb up the ladder to go and talk to him. But he's a bit indifferent. He doesn't really want to talk to me. He's just enjoying the food. And a part of me is angry about it. And the other part of me is neutral because I know it was an agreement between us that we're going to conceive the kids and that's it, that we're not going to proceed with anything. So I'm upset, but I'm also neutral and a bit annoyed. I just leave him.
All right.
Oh
well,
my goodness.
when somebody keeps telling you that they're neutral, are they neutral?
No.
This guy is clearly a jerk. Why? Because dad was. And the man elevates himself. He's up on a shelf, feasts while ignoring her. So again, dad ignored her. Dad looked after himself, didn't tend to her needs. I told her what she needs to do is stop tolerating this in dreams. Knock him off the shelf. That's what she needs to do. Go up there, knock him off the shelf and get down on the ground and kick him. And that might seem terrible, but what she's trying to do in the dream is trying to rise up above the situation. Like, I'm going to be neutral. I am annoyed, but I'm going to be neutral. That's not the point of a dream. We need to address the issue that's been pointed out in the dream. Her inner stance has to change, so her outer partners change. Because her inner stance, clearly shown in the dream, is even if somebody annoys me, even if I'm with a jerk who all he's interested in is the conception, and then he's not going to do anything else after that, I'm going to not let it get me. I'm going to remain neutral. You don't want to be that way. If that's your inner view, that's the man you're going to get on the outside. And that's not what you want. So don't be nice to jerks in dreams if you want good men in your life, because your inner world sets the standard. It sets the bar. So make sure that bar is higher.
Wow, that's very good. All right, we're going to continue on. I go to the people, my family members from my dad's side, who were there in the room waiting. And somehow they're starting to create the wedding. And I go to them and I am just so appalled that they're already on their own doing the wedding. I stand in the middle of the room and I just kind of raise my voice and say at the top of my lungs that there's not going to be any wedding. These are your traditions, old traditions. It worked for you in the past. I'm not getting married. I don't care what you think. Your religion is yours. Your social beliefs are yours. They're not mine. I don't care. And I just say it very loudly, slightly angry, but more in my power and groundedness and strength. And then everybody's very light about it, respects it, and no one says anything. And the dream is over.
All right. Her family are putting pressure on her, or at least she perceives it, like to find a man, have kids. Her public refusal is good, but she really needs to go further. It's her dream. They're renting space in her dream. Don't respect their beliefs. Don't respect their social views. Tell them to get the heck out of this place. I am not doing any of this and I don't want any of you around. You can all leave if you're not going to be in alignment with what I want in my life. It's a dream, after all. I told her she could even get a gun and start shooting them all. This is okay in a dream, because we want to kill the crazy thoughts that we have in our head that are put there by this terrible father that I had that has set this incredibly low bar. And by addressing it in the dream, even in a dramatic way, we change the bar, we move it up, and then we're going to meet a completely different type of partner in our future. And if we don't move it up, we're going to find ourselves doing the same thing in a situation that we're not happy with. And the best we can do is kind of grit our teeth and try being neutral. Wrong thing. It's a masculine energy wound. The boundaries are her issue. Like, she doesn't have boundaries with the guy who is the father. That's her own father, of course, as well, metaphorically in the dream. So it's like she needs to establish all those boundaries, set the boundaries that she never was able to set in childhood, and push back harder on who she is happy to be with in her life, and expel the family, expel him, everything she needs to do. All of that is going to raise the bar and internally declare, I only partner with someone who has done their work. So if she's worked on herself and pushed and raised that bar, then she's going to attract somebody else who's done work on themselves and raise the bar at themselves too. So if you want to find a man who is not broken, then fix the parts of you that are broken. That's the simplest way to do it. All right, Sandy, I'm sure you have questions.
Oh, that was really, really intense. I thought it was good. It's not as scary as the first dream, but still, this one shows that there's still quite a bit of dad's wounding in here. I think you should summarize the difference between masculine and feminine one more time. I like how you describe that masculine energy has to be balanced on the masculine, feminine energy has to be balanced via feminine. What that means is you don't balance the masculine against the feminine or the other way around.
Yeah, most people do think of it that way, that it's like a seesaw, and I've got masculine energy and feminine energy, and I have to get them balanced. And if my feminine's out of balance and it's down here, I need to do something to restore it, because my masculine is now dominant. And that's not how it is. We have masculine energy separate from feminine energy, and we have to balance it separately. And balanced masculine energy is super supportive. It is there for you. It sets boundaries. It creates the space that you can be yourself in. It is absolutely fantastic. And think of it like, if you're a woman, think of it like the guy who's just absolutely adorable, does everything you ever want, thinks of things for you in advance, and keeps the world a completely safe place. That's balanced masculine energy. Unbalanced masculine energy is where you feel very afraid, you feel there's nobody there for you, and just that the world is absolutely not safe, and you're really struggling to survive, and you have to watch everything, because if you don't watch everything, somebody's going to take everything from you. That's masculine. It's its own seesaw. And so we need to kind of work on it in a way that allows us restore the balance, so that we have the positive traits that I was talking about. We get the good things from the masculine energy flow that we have. Feminine energy is all about your inner world. It's about your philosophy of life, your ability to accept yourself as you are, your ability to accept other people as you are. One of the comments was about feminine power. If your feminine energy is balanced, you are able to allow other people be themselves, even if in that being themselves, they're hurling abuse at you, because you know that they are doing that from a pained place. You don't need to fix them. You don't need to change them. You know that they don't even know how pained a place they're in. And you're okay with it, because you know if they understood, they wouldn't do what they're doing. And that is a compassionate thing, but that's feminine energy. So each has its own place of power. And we want to really have both empowered and strong within us, because when the two come together, so instead of it being a seesaw like this, when they both come together, they then work together and move upwards. They pull us upwards into this spiritual union of the two energies. And it's impossible for you to do that, I think, unless you're looking at both energies correctly and identifying where your own imbalance is. So if you think your imbalance is to do with collective feminine wounding, and you think it's on the feminine side, any exercises or things that you try to do to heal that won't work, because that's not where your wound is, if your wound is on the masculine side. And I really don't understand where the confusion comes from in this, but we see it over and over again. Dreams remove the confusion. They show you clearly where it is, and they show you where you need to work. And that's the only place you need to work.
That was beautiful. Well said. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this week, and we hope you have a fabulous week, and we look forward to hearing comments. If you have any comments, it'd be interesting to hear what you have to say. But have a good week. Bye.
I'm going to be roasted in the comments. That's why she did that. See you all next week.